Geometry, section 2-4, example 3 starts us off with another theorem, slopes of perpendicular lines theorem. So two non-vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if, so we got another biconditional if and only if, the product of their slopes is -1. The product of their slopes is -1. A vertical line and a horizontal line are a vertical line and a horizontal line are perpendicular to each other. So if P and Q are both non-vertical, then P is perpendicular to Q if and only if the product of their slopes equals -1. We're gonna look at that a little bit closer in a minute. Parallel and perpendicular lines are really obvious if one is horizontal and one is vertical. If one is horizontal and one is vertical, then P is perpendicular to Q. Let's explore this in example 3. Are lines J and K perpendicular? So of course, our step 1 is going to be to identify the slopes. In this one, in last one we just counted. In this one, let's go ahead and look at points and find that. So we're talking about the slope of J, and then we're going to need the slope of K, and then we'll compare them. So slope J, we need to find 2 points of intersection on this line. I'm going to use this point right here, which is at 1, 2. And we will use this other point, which is at J. Let's find this one over here. That's at -1, 5. So to find those slopes, we would say M equals 2 minus 5 over 1 minus a -1, which is -3 over 2. Now looking at K, let's use the point 0, 4. Intersects right there at 0, 4. And let's use this point over here, which is at -3, -2, or -3, +2. There we go. And so we're going to do for M for K, for the slope, it is 4 minus 2 over 0 minus a -3. 4 minus 2 is 2, and minus a negative makes it a +3. Step 3 is comparing those slopes. And what we said before is we needed the product of those two slopes to equal -1. And a product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So if I take negative 3 over 2 and I take 2 over 3, and I'm going to multiply those together. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And on the denominator, 2 times 3 is a positive 6, and that reduces to negative 1. Another way of looking at this is to say that they are opposite reciprocals. Perpendicular slopes are opposite reciprocals. So one was positive, one was negative, one was 3 over 2, the other was 2 over 3. So reciprocals flip each other upside down. Go ahead and take a look at the try it and come back and check your answers. H and L. The slope of H you should have figured out to be 4 over 3. The slope of L should have been negative 1 over 2. If we check to multiply those two together, 4/3 times negative 1/2 equals a negative 4 over 6, which reduces to a negative 2/3. These are not opposite reciprocals. These are not perpendicular. Okay, on K, you should have found the slope of 2/3, and M, you should have found the slope of negative 4 over 1. Again, you should be able to tell by looking that these are not perpendicular. They're also not parallel, but they're not perpendicular. So if I multiply those together to check, I would have 2. My pen tonight. I'm just going to leave that. 2/3 times negative 4 over 1 equals negative 8 over 3. That does definitely not reduce to negative 1.